Well, welcome to the webinar, everyone. 2019, man, what a year. It has flown by. I can't believe we're already into 2019, but we figured we were going to kick off the year right with a little bit of information about healthy fat loss. This is the time of resolutions. This is the time when people decide that they're going to make a change. And one of the top three things that people always choose as a resolution is to lose weight, get healthy, pay more attention to their health and wellness. Whatever your resolution might be, chances are really good that this is in your top three. So if we're going to do it, why don't we do it the right way? Why don't we actually do it the healthy way? So today's webinar is all about that. So let's start out here. Many of you may or may not have known, but on December 31st, this is what your local gym looked like. It was dead empty. Plenty of space. Pick the machine you want. Free weights galore. Pick and choose. Does not matter. Then, as of today, this is what it looked like. If you tried to go to the gym this morning, you're waiting in line. You can't find a machine. You can't find free weights. You can't find anything. Don't despair, though, because statistics show that by February 1st, we'll be back to this. This is where the gyms will look like again. See, the reality is we all make resolutions. We all make commitments to ourselves that we're going to do something different. The problem is less than 10% of those resolutions are kept. The bad thing is less than 10% are kept for more than 30 days. That's right. If you look at all the stats and the figures and everything else out there, what you find is most gyms operate and stay open because of the people that don't walk in the door, not because of the people that do. See, they offer these great promotions and all these great things to get you in January 1st, and you're all eager and you're excited and you get started. And then, about 10, 15, 20 days in, you're not seeing the results that you want, so you stop going, but you keep the membership because, hey, it's only $20 a month, and you had to pay a $150 initiation fee, and you might decide you're going to start going again. See, the reality is that a lot of those resolutions fail not because of your lack of effort, but because of a lack of result. And that lack of result is because we continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome. The whole idea behind this webinar is to kind of show you where that comes from. See, because the vicious diet cycle, as they say, is just this. You start your diet, you start decreasing your calories. When you do that, you have this famine response. Your body says, oh, hold on a second, I need to do something different. I'm going to store that fat. I'm going to, just lose water weight. I'm going to do all these various things. But as you start to decrease your calories, you start to fall off the wagon because all of a sudden you have this lethargic feel, and we start getting back on our sugars, and then we go into the feast response where we start eating again, and then of course we repeat the whole process over and over and over. And anyone that's ever tried to lose weight on the diet type model, you know what I'm talking about. You lose weight, you gain weight, you gain it back. In fact, most people look just like this. You have the before, you have the after, and then you have the after. And most people don't understand how this happens. How is it that I lost weight, but when I regained it plus some more? What happened here? What was the result? How did I get even bigger than I was when I started, when I tried to do the right thing? Well, the reality is, because we keep trying to do the same thing over and over again, expecting the different results, we get exactly where we are. But if you could understand the cycle, if you could better understand what causes it in the first place, you would be able to get where you wanted to go. But before you start, I want you to know some things. You are not alone. See, a lot of people, when they start weight loss programs and things, they think, okay, this is just me. I'm looking in the mirror. This is me. No one else struggles the way that I struggle. No one else has the issues that I have. No one understands the journey that I'm on. The reality is there's a lot of people out there struggling with things. The average American is consuming 30 servings of sugar a day. Are you somebody who likes sweets, likes chocolates, can't give those things up? Guess what? You're not alone. There's a lot of people out there in that same boat. So, there's communities that you can be a part of so that you can talk about these things. You're pre-diabetic or you're diabetic. Well, you're one of 100 million. In fact, we're right at about 1/3 of Americans are now diabetic or pre-diabetic. The CDC is saying by 2050, half of Americans will be diabetic on the pace that we're currently on. Again, you're not alone. There are solutions out there that are non-pharmaceutical. You can reverse type 2 diabetes with diet and lifestyle. It can be done. You just have to be willing to put in the effort. But again, it's one of those things that, don't just give up. There are things that can be done. You're not alone. What about snacking? Men, we're not doing so great here. Our average snack now is up to 586 calories. Women, our snacking is up to 421 calories. That is per day. We lovingly refer to this as the fourth meal of the day in the U.S. This is part of why our calorie consumption in the U.S. is now over 2,700 calories a day. Most of your RDA percentages on the back of all of your packaging, just FYI, is based upon a 2,000 calorie diet. So even based upon the outdated RDA percentages, we are over 700 calories a day above that on average per American. So again, you're not alone. Don't think that you are. More than 70 million Americans are suffering with gut disorders. The scary thing is about half of them don't even know that it's a gut-related issue. So you may have heard terms like leaky gut. You may have heard things like celiac or gluten intolerances and things of this nature. You need to learn more about gut health. In fact, most scientists are starting to believe that most disease is starting in the gut. And having a healthy gut flora, in other words, feeding your body good probiotics as well as prebiotics, that's the food for the probiotics, is very important in any type of weight loss journey. So again, you're not alone. And then, of course, you're not alone if you're overweight or obese either. 75% of Americans are there with you. And if you look at the demographic information, those numbers even get worse. Because if it was not for Asian Americans that are currently at about 11%, that number would be well over 80% of Americans are overweight or obese. So you're not alone, so let's get started on figuring out a solution. The first and foremost thing that you have to understand is how your body works. And I hope this is not news to you, but what I find is when I tell people about this, it's kind of that aha moment where you understand why it is that you've lost weight, regained it, plus more back, because you have to understand what your BMR is. BMR is your basal metabolic rate. That is, if you woke up, stayed in bed, didn't move, and then just went back to sleep at night, how much your body would burn in energy or burn in calories. That's what calorie is an energy component. How much would it burn if you did nothing all day long? Well, here's what happens. When you start a diet cycle, on day one, you have a BMR baseline that's keeping your weight at a certain level. You start to lose weight. On about day 90, what you notice is, hey, your BMR has come down with you. Your basal metabolic rate has dropped. Now, what that means is you are actually burning less without moving, because what happens is your body goes into fat storage mode. It's in that catabolic phase, okay? But it drops with you down on day 90. Now, the problem is when you decide at about day 90 that you're done, because that's the average that somebody can really start a program and stick with it based upon averages. We're going to talk about how to change habits later. But what happens when we start the weight regain is our BMR stays where we had it, down there at the bottom when we started to lose. At day 90, guess what? We're back to where we were, but our BMR is still down there when we lost the weight. And then by day 120, our BMR catches up to where we are. So see, what happens is our BMR, when we start to lose weight, it takes about 90 days to drop down to where we are when we're losing. But it takes about 120 days to get back to where we are as far as our weight cycle goes to regulate our weight. Hence I started to lose weight and then I gained it plus some back. You now have an understanding based upon your basal metabolic rate and how it works, why that is happening. See, the other thing that I hear all the time is I've lost the same 30 pounds 3 times. Well, not really. In fact, if you look at the statistics, it looks more like this. See, when you lose weight, you're not losing just fat, you're also losing lean muscle. And then on your way back up, you're just gaining the fat back. You're not gaining muscle on the way back up, you're just putting on the pounds. And then when you lose it, you lost fat and lean muscle, and on the way back up, you gain the fat. So what really has happened is, though you may weigh the same, your body fat percentage is well above what it was when you started. This is why most people say if you're going to yo-yo diet, you've actually decreased your life expectancy. So the main focus here is we have to understand that it is not the same 30 pounds, that we need to do something a little bit different. So let's talk about habits for a second. It takes 3 weeks to break a habit. Good, bad, or indifferent, it takes 3 weeks to break one. It takes 6 weeks to develop a new habit. So think about what I said a second ago. Most people are going to give up on their New Year's resolution in the first 30 days. 90% of people are going to give up on that New Year's resolution in the first 30 days. 6 weeks for all those math people out there is 42 days. So guess what? We don't even give it enough time to develop the new habit. And then the most important aspect of this is it takes 36 weeks to hardwire that new habit. In other words, so we don't revert back or fall back into the area in which got us there in the first place. So think about all the things that you've ever tried to change. Think about the New Year's resolutions that you just made for yourself. Think about the commitment that you have to your health and wellness journey. Can you commit to it for 36 weeks? See, because that's what it's going to take to make that hardwire in your brain habit moving forward. Because if all you're giving it is, 30 days, you're not going to get there. If you're even giving it 90 days, it's not going to get there. You have to give it a full commitment of 36 weeks. See, I mean, that's the reality. We're talking about, 8.5 months here. 8.5 to 9 months. That's what we're talking about. That's the commitment level it takes in order to actually change a habit. And most people, when it gets to New Year's resolutions, aren't willing to wait that long because we are a now generation. If you don't believe me, how many times have you checked your phone during this webinar? We can't even set them aside for 15 minutes. Everything has to happen now. And unfortunately, our health is being affected by that habit. So, are you the tortoise or the hare? See, most people, when they start things, they haven't been to a gym in 6 months. January 1st comes and they're in the gym for 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, giving it everything they got, going full sprint. The reality is it's not sustainable. Your body will not react well to that. You need to understand that the turtle is the one that will win this race, the one that takes it slow and easy, and you need to keep it simple. Don't complicate things. It's really about moving your body. That does not mean you have to necessarily even join a gym. It just means you have to move again. The average American does not walk 20 minutes a day. Think about that for a second. The average American does not walk simply 20 minutes a day. Most of the walking that they get is from the house to the car to the chair to the car to the couch, and then the small steps from the couch to the bed where they go back to sleep. 20 minutes of walking a day. If you get that, you're better than 80% of Americans. Keep it simple. Just start moving again. Also, what is manageable weight loss? A pound a week. I hear this all the time. Well, I only lost a pound this week. Well, a pound is the size of a softball. A softball. I lost 4 pounds last month. That's all. I mean, I did all this effort and I only lost 4 pounds. 4 pounds is the size of a basketball. You have to appreciate and understand the effort that it takes to lose the weight. You have to understand that, hey, trust me, I'm with you. I need to lose weight myself. But it didn't take me a day to get to where I am. It's not going to take me a day to get to where I want to go. It's going to take effort. It's going to take some commitment. It's going to take that habit-forming 36-week effort in order to get to where it is I want to go. But along the way, I need to keep in mind that I am successful if I'm losing a pound a week. Heck, if you're losing half a pound a week, it's a baseball. So just remember that. Did you know muscle and fat burn calories? See, this is the one that happens to a lot of ladies that I talk to because, they're afraid to put any resistance training. They just want to do the treadmill and the cardiovascular machines and things of that nature. The reality is we need more muscle on our body. Don't worry, ladies, you're not going to turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're not going to be a big muscle-bound person. That's not going to happen. Genetically, very few people have that gift in order to look that way. But what we want to do, though, is put more muscle on our body because every pound of muscle that we can put on our body will burn 7 to 10 calories per day. Yet every pound of fat we have on our body will only burn 2 to 3 calories per day. If you ever have somebody that tells you that fat or that muscle weighs more than fat, just remember Galileo proved that a pound of feathers and a pound of rocks dropped from the Leaning Tower of Pisa at the same time hit the ground at the same time. A pound is a pound is a pound. What it is a density issue. A pound of muscle is about the size of your fist. A pound of fat is about the size of 2 fists. So imagine that. Why is it we can not lose any weight, but all of a sudden our clothes start to fit different when we start our exercise programs? Well, because we're not necessarily losing weight, but what we are doing is converting our fat over to muscle, which isn't changing our weight, but it is changing our body build or our body fat percentage, which is the true measure of health. Let's talk about this one for a second. We're going to start talking about healthy things. Less than 50% of Americans eat breakfast. Now, here's the interesting fact. Do you have to eat breakfast? Well, science is split here. There's programs out there now called intermittent fasting and things, and there's all kinds of people that are getting amazing results for these types of things. The reality is that when you look at the people that do skip breakfast, though, over 80% of them are obese. They have increased risks of heart disease, diabetes, and a lot of other issues. What we're really finding is people that are skipping breakfast, rarely is it because they're following some type of, program. It's mainly because they feel like that's the way to cut out calories. But what you find statistically is those people that are skipping breakfast have a tendency to consume more calories throughout the day than those that do eat breakfast. So, if you're following a regimented program and it's working for you, great. But just understand there's some severe risk factors associated with just taking out that breakfast meal just because you're trying to lose weight, but you're not doing anything else associated with it other than just trying to reduce your calories. Statistics say you're going to consume more. This is another big area of concern. 1/3 of Americans' primary source of hydration are sodas and juices. Okay, folks, so let's talk about this for a second. Sugar. We have a big problem in this country with sugar. We've done webinars on sugar multiple times, and it's just amazing to me how much we can talk about it, yet we keep doing the same thing over and over. Sugar is killing us. But of course, then we get people that look at the drinks and are like, oh, but I'm drinking the diet variety. What you don't understand is that artificial sweetener is getting into your bloodstream and your body believes that it's sugar. That's right. So when we use these artificial sweeteners, our body automatically says, sugar produces insulin. Insulin goes in there and looks for the sugar. Guess what? Doesn't find it because it's an artificial sweetener. So what does the insulin do in our bloodstream? It does its secondary function, which converts everything in the stomach to fat. So as I tell people all the time, you didn't order the cheeseburger and Diet Coke, you ordered the Diet Coke and love handles, because that's what's going to happen. Don't be fooled by the marketing components of these drinks. The best thing you can do is not drink them. Most people say, I don't drink water because I don't like the way it tastes. No, you don't like water because it has no taste. It's just water. And there's things that you can do to avoid these types of things. And if you can do nothing else in 2019, avoiding sugars, sodas, and juices would be a great start, and something very simple that you can cut out of your diet to improve your health. One of the biggest areas of concern in America right now is our lack of sleep. 74% of Americans are getting inadequate sleep. That increases our risk of heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and depression. In fact, if somebody is starting a weight loss journey, one of the things I always talk to them about is the two things that are, non-negotiable is you need to drink 100 ounces of water a day. That is 100 ounces of actual water, just the little clear stuff, and get 8 hours of sleep a night. Because if you can do those two things, your body's going to be well hydrated and well rested and repairing itself. If you can't do those two things, you really aren't giving it all your effort. And if you say you don't have time to sleep 8 hours a night, I suggest you find it, because your priorities are messed up if you really are focused on your health and you can't find 8 hours a night to sleep. Let's talk about this for a second, because this is really where the rubber meets the road. Weight loss versus fat loss. See, at Ideal Life, we always talk about fat loss. We're talking about body fat percentage. We're not talking about your weight. Because see, when you start a weight loss regimen or you go jump on the treadmill for 45 minutes, you're not really losing fat. What you're losing is a little bit of fat, a lot of water, and a little bit of lean muscle in the process. But see, if you really focus on fat loss and what you're doing there, feeding the body what it needs, adding the resistance training necessary to build lean muscle, replenishing the hydration component of your body, actually feeding the body what it needs when it needs it so it can do exactly what it was designed to do, which is take care of itself, then you are on a fat loss journey and you will be successful and you will get the results you're looking for. If you're on a weight loss journey, you're going to have that yo-yo effect. It's just going to happen to you. That's why 98% of diets fail in this country, is because most people are trying to lose weight. They're not trying to lose fat. There is a difference. If you don't understand the difference, Keep coming back to ID Life and we'll be happy to teach you. The other thing you need to know is this. The scale is a unit of measure. It is not a definition of who you are or how you're doing. Stop paying attention to the scale. Hey, it's a great opportunity for you to see how things are going from the weight component. It's a great component of measure to basically say, yes, I'm weighing the same, but you know what, I'm feeling better. I have more energy. My clothes are fitting better. The reality is this: do not let this thing discourage you. Most people go out and buy this really nice scale, and they're 2 weeks into their program and boom, they've gained weight, and they're like, okay, this just doesn't work for me, I quit. What you don't understand is you're putting on muscle faster than you are losing fat because your body's in store mode. So guess what happens? You're going to gain weight. In fact, if you're doing it right, not only are you probably going to gain a little weight in the first 30 days, you're also going to hit that dreaded plateau where you've done everything and now you're stuck at this weight. What you need to pay attention to is this. The true measure of health, okay, is body fat percentage, not pounds. The scale can only tell you what you weigh. But if you look at the person on the left and you look at the person on the right, they both weigh 175 pounds. The difference is their body fat percentage. See, the person on the left is on a fat loss program. The person on the right is on a weight loss program. Which one do you want to be? And what does your body want to look like? It's always that wonderful picture of I always tell people that jump on the cardio machines and that's all they do is their workout 24/7. I said, well, go look at a picture of a marathon runner and go look at a picture of a sprinter. Which one do you want to look like? What is your goal? Because most people that are jumping on those cardio machines want to look like a sprinter, but you don't understand. Sprinters get those physiques by resistance training and short bursts of energy, not by long distance times and on treadmills. We all want to have a better looking, leaner body. That's just reality. That everybody would love to have that. The way to do that is focus on your body fat percentage, not your weight. Do not let the scale discourage you. In fact, this is what you pay attention to. How are your clothes fitting? If your clothes are fitting better, if you have more room, if you're able to wear those things, that a year ago you thought you'd never be able to wear again, but you kept in the closet just in case, hey, you're on the right path. Stay on that path, stay encouraged, keep doing what you're doing. In fact, if you want a top secret way of making sure that you stay healthy in the new year, we've got it. ID Life has the top secret method of you having the best diet of your life, and here it is. Half your plate should be fruits and vegetables. See, if half your plate is colorful, then the other half can be what you want it to be. But the reality is less than 75% of people are having a plate of half of it, at least, are vegetables on a daily basis. We need to get back to our roots. We need to get back to the way we used to eat on grandma's table, which was there was 2 vegetables. Then they covered half the plate. We need to get back to this to understand what true healthy living is. We have to understand that a colorful plate is usually a healthy plate. At ID Life, we are all about healthy living. We're all about teaching you the things that you need to understand, specifically that your diet and lifestyle choices are what are going to dictate your nutritional gaps and your nutritional needs. And because of that, we want to give you all the information we can to help you on those diet and lifestyle choices. Because we know that if we can help get you healthy, you need less of what it is that we sell. But most importantly, the people around you, the people that you care about, the people that you love will see what you've done and want to follow in your footsteps and get the same results that you can get simply by changing some diet and lifestyle choices on a small, meaningful way that over a long term will have the impact and the result that you're looking for. No short-term cures, no magic pills, just real information, real results that last a lifetime.